Hello, all your fans out there around the world, well, especially California, where I have most of my fans, in Texas, Illinois, New York, Florida. That's where I live. Anyway, I'd like to thank you all for all the comments you're writing on my page, and don't be overwhelmed by me putting a heart on there. There's so many comments, there's thousands of comments on some of my music, and it just makes it much easier for an old man like me to keep track of where I left off. That's the main reason I put the heart there, is not that I really love you all that much. It's just easier for me. You don't understand it unless you somehow get famous like me someday. Not saying it's necessary in life, but it's my hobby is singing. I've been singing since I was 5 years old, and I'll keep singing till I can't sing anymore, where I finally run out of breath. I have an oxygen machine in my house that I have to use more often now. It's noisy. I don't like it. I hate to be reminded I'm sick, but at least I quit smoking cigarettes. You will be really surprised. Those cigarettes you're smoking, if you live long enough as I do, after you retire from your hard-working job, like I did for 55 years. And before I say anything else, I'd like to say one more thing. My older brother, 5 years older, started me smoking when I was 12 years old. It's not a joke, no, though. Shouldn't be laughing. He has never been in the hospital for pneumonia yet. Why is that he's so much healthier than me? Or is it because I worked in a machine shop for over 50 years with that dirty air floating around the whole department, especially 9-10 months of the year when it's too cold to let the fresh air in the building. And machine shops are very big, people. The bigger ones are very big. And they put a lot of pollution in the air. So that might be part of the smoking too. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't quit. Believe you me, you're not going to be very happy like me when you get old and get stuck to that stupid oxygen machine. And sometimes that doesn't even help. You still feel miserable trying to get some oxygen, the little bit you can left in your stupid, what's left of your lungs. Believe you me, those people on TV, they tell you to quit smoking, they're trying to help you. Really. And a lot of karaoke bars I go to, people still smoke cigarettes. I can't preach at them. I smoked since I was 12 years old and just quit over a year and a half ago. I can't preach to those people. They have to learn the hard way like me, I guess. But anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. I'd like to really thank you people that it's such a simple song I made, and it's only by one person made that request. You wouldn't believe how many requests I got to do Queen all the time. And I tell you, they have a terrible copywriter. He doesn't want to share one penny with me, poor little old me, who's just living off of Social Security now. Not 1 cent. So I do with those people? I take their song off the air. It's not available for you anymore. It goes straight to Patreon, where you start getting a little bit of pocket change that way. I don't mean to be mean to you people, but making music on this scale is not cheap. It costs me a lot of money. Because I used to spend a lot of money on golf too. Where did that get me? A big laughing stock is where it got me. I'm too old to play golf now. Or should I say, it's because all those cigarette smoking I did all my whole life and working in a dirty air machine shop. They didn't put any clean air scrubbers in the department. until somewhere back in the middle of the 90s. I've been in the machine shop since I was back in 1962. That's 38 years and 10 and this decade, there's 48 years, people, in a machine shop. That's a long time. I was a very good machinist. They kept me, they sent their people to the unemployment line when we got slow. And you know what they did with me? They handed me a gosh dang broom. At least I knew they wanted me to stick around. But it's rough being a machinist today. I don't recommend anybody to be a machinist today. You gotta know too much for the pay they give you. Cool, I got paid good, yeah, that's true, but it doesn't deserve what you gotta know now. I worked in the machine shop for 50-some years. Back then, a long time ago, we didn't have computers running the machine. We had to run the gosh dang things. And they were a lot harder to set up. Everything had to be perfect. And they were old machines too. If there was something wrong with that machine, you had to fix it. Otherwise, you'll never make a good part. We had these things called box mills. They cut precision parts, just like a grinder, out of solid stock. You have to learn how to sharpen those things. It's very difficult putting chip breakers inside of it. It takes a lot of skill, people, a lot of it. You not only have to be very smart, you have to be very good with your hands. Anyway, it's hard being a machinist nowadays. Instead of 7 or 8 tubes, you got over 300 tubes put in that gosh damn machine. Machines today are worth millions of dollars. And if you crash one up, you're gonna make your employer very mad. You might not be looking for another way to make a living the very next day. One mistake is just like a people up there controlling the flights on the ground, telling those pilots where to go, when to land, how to move over this way, that way. You ever see that movie, Pushing 10, with, I can't remember actors' names. I can't remember shit anymore. Today I was so stupid, I got up in the morning and I forgot how to turn my computer on. I called AT&T up and bitched at him. Well, come on, I can't get my computer to come on. It was working fine yesterday before I went out. The screen wouldn't even light up. You know what I got my wife up. She liked to sleep late. She got her up around 10:30 in the morning. I hope that wasn't too early for her, because she felt pretty mad at me. She stays up real late. She has trouble getting to sleep at night or something. I don't know what it is. But don't you bear out of her unless you're really happy, or she'll cuss your ass out. She's a late sleeper. No wonder she can't get to bed at night. She stays up too late. Anyway, I forgot to, sometimes at night, I'm sleeping in the bed, I look over my computer and I see a light. Just a minute, I don't know, I gotta have my TV. They said it so the thing shuts off by itself to save energy. I don't know if my video still works. I sure hope so. Or I'll be making a stupid video for nothing. I know a lot of you people, you're my fans, they want me to let them know what's going on with my life. Which is normal, I guess. But no, sometimes at night, the light from my computer, which is in my bedroom, the little light on the bottom is bothering me. Sometimes I turn it on, turn it off, so that little light won't bother me in my computer. And with this new apartment that we're at, I have to make sure my window's closed, because there's no scenery for a bunch of trees and a pond and all that junk. We were renting a 4-bedroom before. Now we rent only a 2-bedroom. It's a lot smaller, and it faces west, where there's lots of other people can see at night. So I got to close my blinds at night. Well, of course, I like a little privacy. I'm just like showing myself off to the neighbors. Of course, most people do. But over here, you gotta shut the blinds off. It makes it a little bit darker in here, but anyway, I shut off that stupid light on the computer screen. And if I did it. This morning I got up and I was too stupid to remember to turn this goddamn light back on, because sometimes I turn it off. That's the only thing that was wrong with it. I spent an hour with the AT&T guy, and my wife got up and showed me how to fix it again. Thank God I got somebody to help me. I'm getting stupider by the day. Oh well, guess that's what happens when you get old. Anyway, some of these comments, they really make me laugh. Boy, Bet's video I watched in the wrong one. This song is very simple, people. I did this 7 to 8 years ago, and there was copywriters back then too. I made a lot of money off of Usher's record, The DJ's Got Us Falling in Love Again. I made a lot of money on that. And then one day, the copywriter, they got on my ass. They said, no more, we're taking every penny of you back. Well, I mean, they wouldn't in the future. They couldn't take it back what I already got. I got 80,000 views on that song a long time ago, many years ago. I said, those guys, can't they leave me alone? Usher makes thousands, millions of dollars more than I do. Why can't he leave me alone? Anyway, he got the copywriter to take off my no more future money for Johnny D. I need every penny I can get. I'm getting old. This is way back in the early 2010, 2011, 12. Anyway, I took it off the air. I erased it. I got mad. I erased it. And I should have never done that. And now I can't get it back. It's gone. It's up in thin smoke. Anyway, that song is just like your Revenge. What's the name of this stupid song again? Revenge Men or something. I'm not going to go back there now. But anyway, it's a very simple song for me to sing. Because I like all of Usher's records. I sang all, about 90% of them. Another thing you people don't realize, besides my computer expenses and keeping the scammers out of my machine, it's cost me another $350 for my people that remove my, they're better than Best Buy. They're better than you need them. No, even with Best Buy on your computer, there's some things they don't get everything. It was only expired for 3 months before I realized it, and they told me about it. It's time for you to sign up again, Johnny D, because we can't protect you anymore. Your subscription ran out 3 months ago. I didn't know that. Of course, getting my age, you forget everything. It's a good thing I still remember to keep my bills paid. I just give the money to the wife, and she pays the bills. I don't want to be bothered with such nonsense. But they got to be paid, you know, those people don't turn your stuff off if you don't pay them. They don't give a damn. We moved into this stupid apartment 2 weeks ago, and it took them a week to come over here and fix the goddamn air conditioning. And it gets hot here in Florida in July. It gets in the 90s and sometimes 100. And humidity. Oh yes, it does. And it took them idiots over here, and all the high rent that we pay them over here, it took them a whole week to come here and fix the goddamn air conditioning. I even had to go to my old apartment. I didn't give them the key back yet. and sleep there with nothing to do but go to bed there. At least it was nice and cool. I couldn't sleep here. Well, so much to say about this apartment complex. It's only a block away though, so I don't have far to drive. Anyway, some of the comments you guys make, it just makes you laugh. I dead ass want this to play at my funeral. He won't even be able to hear it, people. He'll be dead. There's such strange things that you guys write. It's really funny. I don't know how you can make such a big deal out of a computer game that you guys play on the internet, whatever it is. The only thing I play on the computer now is Monopoly. And sometimes it gets very boring. I just can't sit here and listen to music all day, just like you're driving in a car. That's the only thing I'll let you do besides drive the goddamn car. It's just too boring. Well, I play Monopoly while the music's playing on iTunes. And then also, I used to be able to play pool, billiards. Not the kind you go swimming inside of a pool when it's real hot outside, so you can cool off. My wife can't even swim. I keep telling her to learn, it's so simple. When us kids were 5 years old, my family got out of Chicago, dirty, slummy Chicago, where there's kids on motorcycles, jackets, all chasing you and your little sister off the playground so they can play there. Kids living on the front of your house where the more expensive houses are by the street, coming back and throwing bricks at your face and taking and raping you, not raping, exposing your little sister. That's the kind of neighbors I had. And you know, none of them were black back then, either people. We can't blame them on the blacks. They were white people. All the guys on the motorcycle gang, they all had black accents too, and they're all white. It was about white back there in the 40s. Anyway, I'm glad my parents had the money to get the hell out of there and move to a little town called Long Lake, about 40 miles north of Chicago. Anyway, I learned to swim when I was 5 years old. My mom taught me, and even though she had a bunch of kids herself, but she floated easy in the water there. She was kind of buoyant. Anyway, she taught me how to swim when I was only 5 years old. Now, my wife still don't want to know how to swim. She might drown someday. And you don't want to go swimming in the ocean around here. We got these things called currents. You could be caught swimming in a current. It won't let you swim back to the shore, people. You're going to have to stay out there until you fucking drown. Oh, excuse my language. I shouldn't be swearing on the internet. That's all the swearing I do. The people I used to hang around with. They're all dead now. I haven't got any friends. The only friends I got is some DJs around town. It's strange trying to live without no friends. When you get old, maybe you'll be a lucky one so you could die early. You won't miss all your friends. They're all 6 feet under, people. They're gone. The last one died last year in June when I went up to visit my daughter who lives near Chicago. Thank God she don't have to live in that city. Did you ever see all the crime they got there on TV? Chicago PD, that's a real good show on TV. You gotta watch it. Real nice captain they got there in that show. It's more exciting than LAPD, you know, the other NCIS. They have a better cop show on that station. Anyway, maybe you don't even have time to watch TV. You know, all the time to kill that I do. So I'm glad I took up singing. Even though I used to love TV, it's still something to do. Sit around twiddling your thumbs. My grandkids that live with us, we adopted them. Their mother can't afford them. She doesn't. It's a poor little waitress working on a Navy base over here. Anyway, we had adopted because she couldn't afford to take care of it. They don't have the money I do. And I'm not rich, people. I'm sure I was a really good machinist, but it's not really being rich. They wanted me to work 50, 60 hours a week there. And I had a heart attack back in 2004. One time I worked so much overtime, I couldn't remember what a day off felt like. I got one day off Sunday. They wanted me coming there 6 days a week. Sure, I could use the extra money and all that, but I just wanted to live, to experience retirement. I had to get a doctor's excuse to get off work. My owner of the company still sends me turkeys every year for Thanksgiving. All I have to do is send him to Reese, and he sends me a check for it. Well, nice man. He's rich. We live in a very poor town, or a mediocre town, like Waukegan, where Jack Benny was born. You ever hear of Jack Benny? Oh, you probably kids never. Who in the hell is he talking about? Who the F is Jack Benny? Well, we first got TV people back in the 50s. He was one of the people on your 4 stations that you got. A black and white 12-inch TV. Jack Benny was a comedian. He had a weekly show. I Love Lucy, The Honeymooners, things like that you watch back on TV. You watch Hit Parade, you didn't get to see the real singers, people like you got nowadays right on the gosh damn internet. You watched Hit Parade, the people were trying to sing like the real singers. You never got to even see what your famous singer looked like back for many years later than that. All we had back then was the AM radio. And you say, what the hell is AM radio? It's amplitude modulation. It's not FM frequency modulation that you got nowadays, people, and listen to real good music with stereo. No. My mom had the radio was big as your 50-inch TVs nowadays. It stood higher than me. It stood around 3 or 4 feet high up in the air, and it was a big wood cabinet piece of furniture. That's what you had to listen to back then in the 40s, Miss people. Don't forget, I was born in 43. I was 7 years old by the time it came in 1950. Well, 6 years, more like 6 years old. But my birthday's late in the year. Anyway, you don't know how much better you got it today. I got 200 records. It was got too lazy for me after a while to put them back in their little 45 RPM jackets to keep them from getting scratched up or dust on them. I haven't used those records for years since I learned how to use this computer. My little son taught me how to use the computer when I bought one several years back. Well, more than that, 15 years back. I think it was about 5 years before I even tried to get on YouTube. I was doing this thing they called MySpace. That's what they had for singers like me that want to do a little singing in public. Then I joined this thing called SingSnap. I'm still on it today, and it's expensive, people. It's like $112 a year now. But in some ways, it's much better than YouTube. They lost a lot of music to YouTube, so therefore today they are enemies. They are enemies with YouTube. They took a lot of their business away. And of course, YouTube figures the same way about them, but they don't charge anything to make music on their station, on their website. But SingSnap, you can do other things you can't do on YouTube. I can sing a duet with a woman. Sometimes some of them are pretty, very pretty. On the other side of the world, I could do it with some woman who lives in the Philippines or Australia. You can't do that on YouTube. You could do a duet with a woman halfway around the world. And you can go in your friend's house around here, or your kid's house, where sometimes they're too cheap, they're too poor to have anything you do at home. I sang a couple videos on my daughter's. I didn't even think I had a microphone. One of these things, it had one of those cameras, built-in cameras inside the screen. Real cheap, the cheapest stuff that you can have and make a video. And guess who was listening to my video when I made that video? Your old friend, the one with the 90 million subscribers. You know, PewDiePie. I said, who in the hell is this PewDiePie that people are telling me about? I found out about him after he raised my subscriber count very high. Thank God for PewDiePie. Anyway, I made a couple of songs over visiting my grandson, who's only about 4 years old now, and on my daughter's cheek. She lives close to Chicago, but the places where she lives there, close to Chicago, are in the second part of town of Chicago, where the people are the richest. The richest part of Chicago is to the north of them. It started with Elmhurst, Winnetka, Lake Forest, Lake Bluff, Noble, richest city in the state of Illinois. And a lot of these rich people live way on the north side, way on the tip of the north side of Chicago, known as the Gold Coast. And I find these people drive Mercedes-Benz down the expressway over there, Road 94, Interstate 94. And they're rich. They're CEOs. They have $1 million houses. Some of them have $5, $6 million houses. My boss, not my boss, the owner of the company I used to work at, the best machine shop I ever worked at. My last, 14 years of my work life. Air conditioning, clean, lots of machine shops up north, they're simply filthy. And so a lot of the company owners up north, they have the worst factories. They don't have the heat they should be. You have to wear a jacket, a knit hat around your ears to work there, because otherwise your ears will freeze off because they don't heat the building. They're not going to make it 74 degrees for you inside there. They can wash every penny. And the dirt is so thick, it's 2 or 3 inches in some place. And the last place I worked at, when I lost my job at Amco Tools in '95, I was there I got still collecting pensions from them. When I die, my wife won't get anything. Neither will anybody else. I wouldn't get anything as long as I was alive. That's the way a pension works. But it's rough being a machinist. Anyway, let's go back to, this is getting boring, talking about work. Who wants to go to work? Let's see here, let me get on this page here. I'm gonna find something interesting comments you made. By the way, I put those hearts by the comments. I get thousands of comments sometimes on some of my songs, and I appreciate it very much. At my age, it's too hard to keep track. Where did you let off? It would take me an hour to go and find out where I left off. So I put a little heart there. Not because I really don't love you. I really love you fans very much. But it's more simple for me, so I can go back and see where I left off. Sometimes it gets tired reading 2 or 3 hours worth of comments in one city. Sometimes I do it 3 or 4 times a day, because it wouldn't be so much that day. Anyway, I still need some kind of marker to leave off where I left behind. I'm sure I don't want to leave a hands-down marker by your comment, and you probably quit writing to me. And why do guys think so much bad things about us? I don't. Back in my day, we didn't know so much of things like computers. I didn't even have a computer till about 10, 15 years ago. My kids had it since they were young. And I even got messed up back in 89, 1989, people. Everybody was switching over to computerized run machines. And I was a manual machinist since 1962, people. And I had to learn CNC machines, computerized numerical control. That's what that letter is standing for. I had to go to college. And in the college over there in Lake County, the county, just sort of Cook County in Chicago, they had an old college there. They couldn't have all the money that they should have to get newer computers. You make one tiny little bitty mistake on that computer, and your program wouldn't come true. I had to go to school to learn how to do programming. Those kids were way ahead of me. I had to go back to 3 or 4 weekends and spend hours on the stupid old computers over at the college to learn how to use them without making a stupid mistake, and I have to do it all over again. And I had to do it enough times to do over and over again, so I learned about computers. I didn't have no computer at home. Who needs those things? That was back in '89. They're still very expensive. Anyway, those kids that were way ahead of me, they know computers very good. And they're a lot younger than me, too. Here I am, an old machinist. I started in the machine shop in '62, and here is 1989. Now it's switching over from the old manual machines to the newer machines that are run by computer control. And you have to know programming, and besides being very proficient on a computer, you have to know math, M-A-T-H, mathematics, arithmetic, or whatever you want to call it. I had advanced years in high school. I had college algebra. I had advanced algebra. I had trigonometry. Trigonometry, that's one thing I got it over that the kids today, they didn't know a gosh damn thing about trigonometry. It's very complicated, people. And matter of fact, nobody I worked with either. Even my newest factory that I worked at the last 14 years of my life. And of course I went on second shift because there was so much traffic in the daytime, even around 30, 40 miles from Chicago, taking forever to get to work, and banging up against people's bumpers all the way to work and back every day. I went on second shift. There's hardly any traffic then. And there's those programmers with computers at work in their office doing all the math for them. The computers nowadays, even back in 1990-something, they did the work in the office. And the computers did the trick for them. They got lots of things that are helping write them programs quickly. And let me tell you a little bit about machinists that's very hard for other people to understand. Each little tool you got, sometimes a tool can only be, they're all made by factories now, they're called inserts. You stick these ceramic-like tools inside the holder, tighten them down, and each one of those inserts have different kinds of radiuses on the end of them. Some can only have 4,000ths radius on it. Some have 8,000ths radius. Some have 1/16 of an inch, 64th. That's 15,000ths radius. Some have a 32nd radius, or 31,000ths radius. Some have a bigger 16. Each one of those tools, people, you have a two-path that has to follow the word to make that part make. And the two-path for what you write down in the frame and tell the machine where it's at and where it's actually at It's two different things. If you don't have all the math done perfectly, people, and computer language, if you don't have it written down, it's not going to make the same part that you put the numbers in. Each one of those different radios too have a different program. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to make a scrap piece of piece. And the next day, you're going to be out the door. We had no programmers in second shift. If they wanted the machine fixed and they made a mistake in the daytime, I had to fix it. I was the only one who down there at work who knew how. Because I know math. And you have a different formula for all these different things you have to learn if you want to mess in there and fix the program and have it running before they have to wait all night long for the machine shutting down to have it waiting for them to fix it. But that's why they probably kept me. They handed me a broom when we got slow. They got rid of the older guys that didn't know nothing. Kicked them out the door. Once you get laid off at that company, you don't come back. They don't hire you again. Anyway, don't become a machinist. There's just too much to learn. They should pay a fortune for what they want you to do. Well, let's go back to some of these comments here. I get off on the wrong track. I know not anyone out there can give a F what a machinist does. Who gives a damn? As long as you get your parts, you buy a car, you buy a washing machine, you buy a dryer, you buy stuff they make for TVs and electronics. As long as it works, that's all you worry about. Let somebody else do this stupid thing, how to figure out how to make them and produce them efficiently to sell parts around the world nowadays. It's a worldwide job. Everybody in the country needs a machinist. You don't get it. Sure, I got out of the service because I was a machinist. Back then, it was 1969. All the guys like me and give a damn about that Vietnam War. And Henry Johnson, one who took over office when Kennedy got assassinated. Anyway, they still had that Vietnam War going, and it was getting very unpopular around all the young people like me around the country. Of course, there was a lot of people that did their duty and went into the Civil War. It was raining on them for months at a time without ever stopping. We were getting their butt shot off, getting hit by a grenade and all that other junk. A lot of people went up to Canada to get out of that service. Back then we had a draft. And nobody wanted to join the service because it didn't pay very much at all. You ought to see how much money my wife's son, not my son, she was married to a couple of guys before we met. And I was married, both my other wives died on me. When I finally got another wife back in 2010, I was really happy to get married again. It'll be my third marriage. Anyway, a lot of people went to Canada to get rid of the service. The service didn't pay very much money at all. You ought to see how much my wife's son makes in the Navy now. He makes more than I did as a machinist, just to drive heavier equipment around. Anyway, that's the way it goes nowadays, people. Sure, join the service. You get paid real good doing it, especially if you know a little bit of a trade or something. Or maybe not be as complicated as running a machine. They have a lot of machinists in the service too. Maybe it's not as complicated as having a He makes a lot more money than I did as a machinist. You didn't have to work overtime either. It's good to join the service nowadays. You can make good money doing that. Anyway, I got my boss to sign me up to a machinist training, apprenticeship. I had to go to school 2 nights a week, besides working in his company 6 days a week. I put in a lot of overtime and working as fast. as you can and get the part out the door before you got fired from there. Then you really would have to go into service. Because if you get a divorce, you have a couple kids, and you get a support, they'll leave you alone. But back then when they had the draft, you turn one into a 4Y, which is not very good service material. They don't want to pay for your goddamn family. It turns you into a 1A overnight when they hear about your divorce. That's what happened to me. I looked down, like the draft lady liked me, kept me out of the service. My boss, my owner of the company, he spent millions of dollars on his own little company, wanted me. He saw a future in me. And I had to go to Waukegan High School at night, 2 nights a week, 3 hours a night, plus work all the overtime my boss wanted me to. I didn't have exactly what you call maid. Besides that, where would our service be today if we didn't have all those wonderful machine parts? People making rifles for you, tanks, army equipment, planes, all that stuff you need to fight a war with. Anywhere, you lose every war you ever started with all these other countries. I ain't gonna bore you with that stuff anymore. Who gives a damn? Anyway, thank you very much for, I know I should get on the air more often and tell you people how life is going. It sucks. If you're smoking cigarettes, quit now. You're gonna be suffering every day the rest of your life when you get older. If you're lucky enough to be alive like me, all my friends are dead. D-E-A-D. They're passed away. They're 6 feet under. They're all gone. I'm here by myself. I have no friends but you people. And a couple of DJs I know around town. Who wants to be friends with an old man? You know, it's lonely. But if you're smoking now, please quit. It's not worth it. They tell you a bunch of lies back in the 50s, people, about smoking cigarettes. If you're sucked enough to fall for them, even today, they're trying over in Florida all the time to get people to quit smoking. They show people that had a heart attack at 45 years old. They never thought they would affect their heart. It did mine. Back in 2004, let's see, that's 15 years ago, I had to get a quadruple bypass. You know those stupid insurance companies? If you don't have insurance, they still gotta take care of you. If they only get people like me, they take advantage of these hospitals around here. Illinois, Florida, it don't matter. All of your states does the same damn thing. Don't listen to people trying to sell you cigarettes on TV. Back in my day, they were welcoming me to pay for all the TV production shows and films they had to shoot on TV. They had to make money somehow. But, if you're smoking now, quit. You're going to be miserable when you're my age, putting up with these stupid ass oxygen machines that don't really give you all the breath you can. You can't carry that tube all around the house. If you do, you're going to have tubes twisting over your feet. It's terrible to have to be smoking and live on your last breath of air. Sometimes I came home from the groceries, I run up, I have to stop and rest for a few minutes or there's enough oxygen in my lungs to go upstairs. It's difficult just going into the grocery store. And especially have my wife move us to an apartment building. We have to go up an elevator. And let alone, what if the electricity went out and the elevator quit working? I'd be stuck there. Quit smoking now. Or don't ever start. Anyway, I did enough preaching. You guys, you find out about my boring machine shop life. I worked in one for 50 years. Maybe it had a lot to do with me not being able to breathe too good now. But don't blame it on that, people. You got to make a living. You don't have to smoke cigarettes. You can quit. And if you don't, you're too stupid like me and say, well, all my friends died. They must have been disease-ridden people in the first place. I can smoke and nothing will ever happen to me. I was wrong, people. It did happen. I went in the hospital 8 or 9 times with pneumonia already. I'm lucky I'm still alive. A lot of people check in the hospital with their pneumonia and they don't check out. Quit now. And once you're dead, people. There's no more life. Maybe there's life with God up there in heaven. Maybe there's a hell down there with Satan. And life is over with. Quit now and enjoy your few minutes of your golden days when you retire. If you live long enough to do that. Anyway, I'm gonna quit preaching at you people. I smoked for 60 years. I'm not gonna preach to you. I'm just warning you. You're not gonna be very happy if you live to retirement. It's true. That's why on TV here in Florida, they encourage people to quit smoking. They don't need their money anymore to bring you to keep everybody gets a paycheck there who runs TVs. They don't need you. They are nice enough to tell you now to quit while you're still ahead. Maybe you'll get better. Maybe you'll stay the same, like me, and always have a rough time the rest of your life. Don't do it to yourself, people. There's too much to live for, and there's nothing to die for. Well, goodbye, everybody. I can't make as good stories as my wife does on her talk shows. A lot of you complain about her, but don't. I just say one more thing before I go, before you complain so much about her and her stupid shows and her talking shows. So I'm sure she's no Johnny Carson or some of the people they got on TV nowadays late at night for you to watch a night show. But she's pretty good at talking. She's a very smart woman. And don't forget she helped me get my computer going this morning because I was too fucking stupid. Anyway, don't blame her anyway. When I got scammed, you know that woman did. 6 months before that scammer even got home, you people, oh, Johnny D, you should sign up for a record deal. You're such a good singer. Thanks for all that, people. But there's a bunch of people who are jealous of what I do, I guess. And they, for no apparent reason, I thought they wanted to get all my money from making that music. Especially after PewDiePie helped me all that great deal and got me thousands and thousands of subscribers. And he liked me because those videos I made over my daughter's cheap sink stand, which I can get in her house or anybody's house in the United States here, because I pay for the membership dues there. Anyway, I put those cheap songs on. I had my grandkid, which is about 2 or 3 years old, playing on the living room over there behind me. And PewDiePie watched those 2 videos. I think one was by Big Baby Dram, broccoli, the vegetable that you eat. That's the name of the song. And the other one was about the rapper. Anyway, he liked it and he made me famous. So even though I was using all that cheap equipment over at my daughter's house, I don't think they still have a very good broadcasting system there at their house. But anyway, it's not it's a hobby that costs a lot of money, but I get some results back from it. It's not like playing golf. You can spend $1,000 on clubs and spend money on a new driver every year, a new putter. It doesn't help you one bit. But it was fun to do. Sure, singing is not exactly cheap either. You can, it costs thousands of dollars a year just to belong to an internet service, a high-speed one like we got. It costs a lot of money for that. It costs you a lot of money to keep scammers off your computer. So I'm spending another $300 just for the next 3 more years. And you can't compete with other people that try to get rid of viruses. Some people, they do a lot more stuff for you than other ones can. But it costs you a lot more money. All in the end, you might be spending less. Scammers nowadays take millions of dollars away from people. That's their crooks. And it costs a lot of money to do their singing business or any kind of business on the internet. Other people have to eat, bring home a paycheck to feed their family, or just to pay for their own self, or to buy a car, or buy their own food. You can't live off mama and daddy the rest of your life. Anyway, if you can possibly afford it, please send $1, just a lousy $1, once a month to Patreon, and it'll you'll get to see all those shows those copywriters take away from me, those songs. Some are very good songs. I think much better than one you're listening to right now and you're making your pocket. But who am I to judge what kind of music you should like? I'm an old man, what should I know about music? Most people, older people, like my older music and their older music because they were healthy and young back then. And it makes us feel young and like a little kid. I like music, even when my kids got tired of listening to today's music. Before they even left the house, they were bitching about new music. Everybody's kids are different. I know you're different. You want to listen to some old song that Usher made a big fortune off of back many years back, in the early 2000s. But that's all right. My kids even got tired of my new music back when they were still living with me. I always liked a lot of the new music that came out. But I can't see, I don't care if you like the song that's so great now with the Minecraft and the Minecraft song. It's just, if you just listen to Usher's old record, it's the same music too. If you want to if that's what you enjoy me doing, I'll try my best. But some of these rap songs nowadays, they come out 100 words a minute, and there's not too many people around town here that can sing like I do in a town of 1 million people, biggest city in Jacksonville, out in Florida. There's not too many people who do it. And some of the DJs I met back then when I first started singing, it's very difficult to learn how to do rap. It's a skill, it's an art, it's a gift. And you have to be very quick. We have some singers though where I go to by the ocean, best club in the whole bigger part of the biggest city in the United States, area-wise. We have very good singers that can go through a whole song without reading one word on that lyric screen. They can go through the whole song, remembering every word that they're supposed to. We have some very good singers down there, people. And if you ever come to Jacksonville, go to that bar, karaoke bar by the ocean on 1st Street. It's a very good bar, and the best DJ there too. He's got more music than 3 or 4 DJs put together in this whole big giant city of Jacksonville. And of course there's Mandarin, and there's Orange Park, and I live in Orange Park now, because my wife got tired of going to these nice schools teaching every day. I hate to say what's happened to her, but she got fired because took off all that time I was in the hospital back last January, and now I got home. She got tired, and she told that she was going to go back to work to do this people 3 days after I got back home out of the hospital. And plus that, she moved over here at the same time so she can get closer to her job while having to drive an hour to work in the morning and 1 hour back home. But still, it wasn't working people. They fired her. And she can't even get a job around here. She's going the way out to Detroit to look for work. Well, what's that going to do with me? I'm getting too stupid to even turn on my computer anymore. I hope I survive. Anyway, nice seeing you guys next time. And keep watching my music. And I'll believe it when you get more views than you gave my, what's his name, Jake Paul, Everyday Bro, which has just turned 600,000 views today. And thank you for subscribing, you new subscribers. I can need all I can get. It's very difficult. Only the richest people in the world make a lot of music, like Snoop Dogg, Whitney Houston, Madonna, Rihanna, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, just those kind of people make a lot of money. The rest of us are struggling, and it's a good thing I don't depend on this for a living. Otherwise, I'd be dead now from being broke. Oh well, keep watching, people. I hope I can come up with another hit soon to beat this one. Bye now.